Did you know that online streaming is becoming the most powerful means of reaching a broader audience? Even major networks are transitioning from cable television to online streaming platforms. BGK is a Christian online TV network that is ahead of the curve. We specialize in virtual broadcasting, allowing leaders to broadcast right from their homes while sitting in the comfort of their customized studios. Well, call us at 877-386-6207 and become a broadcast partner with BGK Broadcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to G's Inspirational Corner, where we are inspiring you to live your best life. I am your host, Evangelist Jolanda Simmons-Wright, and boy, do I have a treat for you today. But before we get to our guest, I want to tell you how to be a guest on G's Inspirational Corner TV show. To be a guest, all you have to do is send me an email at wewdiamonds@yahoo.com. Now, listen, I have a guest here today. She's an author. Her name is Lakisha Leeks. But before we get to her book and her story, I want to pause so that you can watch this very special video. Take a listen.
ABCs. Apple. B boy. C cupcake. D duck. E elephant. F fish. G girl. H horse. I
Wasn't that a nice video? Let's talk about what's going on with Lakisha Leeks. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. After being in corporate America for 15 years, working for engineering companies, Lockheed Martin, Johnson Controls, and the U.S. government, life for Lakisha shifted after finding out her mom had breast cancer. Making the transition to be her mother's caregiver, life took her in a different direction. Out of a painful situation, she had to redefine her life. She married, became a mom, and wanted to be intentional about raising her children. She decided to pursue a career path shared by her mother, a child care business owner. After a few friends asked Lakisha to care for their children while they worked, she found a new passion and purpose in life and decided to fully pursue the child care business and opened Amazing Child Care and Learning Academy. How awesome is that? A licensed family child care program in 2020. So while doing research on a child care competitor in the area, she discovered that some programs required kindergarten students know how to read and write to be accepted. With this information, Lakisha decided to create early childhood learning resources that would help children learn to read early. Now, Lakisha is the author of Proud of Me, ABC book and cartoon, an early childhood learning resource to prepare children for kindergarten. Her first products are available now at www.proudofmeabc.com. We'll make sure we put that information to scroll across the screen so you have time to write it down. Now, Lakisha Leeks is a proud wife, a mother of 2 children, Skye, 5 years old, and EJ, 3-year-old, an Army veteran and child care business owner. Now, Lakisha is from Newport News, Virginia. She attended Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, and received a Bachelor's of Science in Business Management and a master's degree in Engineering Management from George Washington University. She enjoys taking morning walks, professional and personal development, and spending time with her family and friends. Lakisha, please welcome to G's Inspirational Corner.
Hi, Galanda. How are you?
I am well. I am super excited to talk about your book, this book right here.
Yes.
Proud Me, ABC.
Proud of
And
me.
listen, we looked at that nice video. Who was it that behind that video?
So the video's voice is my daughter, Skye, Abigail, and we actually did it when she was 3 years old. We went to a podcast studio of an acquaintance, and she sat there. She put the microphone on her head, and she did it. We practiced it a little bit before we went, and, she went through it. And I told her when we were doing this, I said, Skye, you're going to be teaching other children their ABCs when we did this. So she's been a part of the project from that inception of the cartoon with the thought that she's going to be helping other children learn their ABCs.
Well, she did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Saying those ABCs in that video. And this book, Proud of Me, ABC, Amazing Adventures of Skye. And Skye is your daughter.
Mm-hmm. She is. I wanted to have some diversity in the book as well. There was one time, I am a child care business owner, and there was one time that we were reading a book and she actually said, Mommy, no one looks like me in the book. And I just was like kind of taken back when she said that. You hear people mention things like that, but I wasn't expecting her to say that. And not that that was the complete goal of the book, but I definitely wanted her to, one, be represented. This is, we're both going down this entrepreneurship journey together. She's learning about the process now. So yeah, The Amazing Adventures of Skye. And EJ, he makes an appearance in the book too.
Oh my goodness. So EJ is her brother.
Yes, my son, who's 3 now.
That is so cool. Getting the kids involved and getting them ready and started right away.
Yes.
So it's true to the story. They're never too young.
They're never too young. I service ages 2 to 5 in my childcare program, and everyone learns differently. But what I feel is that they all should be learning now. We definitely play and we have a good time, but school and life and what they're expecting of children, it's not decreasing, it's increasing. And when I really had that interview, I found out, I asked the question because I saw these stories that were posted on the board, like paragraphs that were written. And we were doing a Zoom interview. This was like in November. So, school starts in September. So they hadn't been in school so long. I said, well, who wrote these stories? And she told me that the kindergartners wrote it. And I said, well, they just started school. And she said, oh, well, in order to be accepted to our program, children have to know how to read and write. And I said, oh, because I just did not feel that that was the standard. I don't feel like everyone is thinking about their child knowing how to read and write going in to kindergarten. So I said, I want that to be my standard for children that I'm servicing. And, as life continued to go on, a creative process just came where I wanted to create a book that would help them learn their ABCs.
And that's really nice. I work in the education system myself. And, you don't know how many times that the children will come into kindergarten and not knowing how to read. And so this book, and guess what? I want to say to my audience, Christmas is coming. This will make a nice little Christmas gift for some little boy or girl. Mm-hmm. It's a great book. As I read through the book, it's a colorful book, and I love it. It's just like it says, Amazing Adventures, because as I look through the book, I see all of these things. You have to get the book. So after each letter there's a beautiful picture of that help you to understand what the letter is, or help our children understand and relate to the letter, because some people do learn how to read by looking at the pictures as well, right?
Yes, they do. They do. And then there's a couple of things you can do with the book. So, of course, we want to help them identify their ABCs. We want them to identify the picture correctly. We don't want to assume that every child is going to initially know what an apple is, or who a boy is, or a girl. So we want to be able to identify those pictures. The letters are so big that they can trace, they can use their fingers and trace. And then at some point, they might be able to use these as some spelling words to learn how to spell the word apple. So, after you know your ABCs, well, can you spell apple? Can you spell boy? And that's what I'm working on with my daughter right now in the book, trying to just kind of like take her, can you spell elephant? So let's kind of get to the point where we can actually spell the word, because it's never too early to kind of continue them to grow and learn and develop. So I really think the children will love it. I'm getting good reviews from people who have the book, and I'm excited to get it in the children's hands, because I created this book too in the size of the book, because when my children were learning their ABCs, I saw that they liked a big, thick book. They liked the big books. It's heavy enough for them to kind of turn the pages. They're not going to rip the pages out because it's a board book. And I think kids are going to like it. So
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So tell us how we can purchase the book.
Sure. So I have a website. It's www.proudofmeabc.com. Proudofmeabc.com. You can go there. You can purchase the book. You can purchase the cartoon. There's pictures of Skye and EJ there, a little bit more about myself. But, that's the website. And that's the first product that I created for children. I'll show you here. Now, I didn't finish this part, but I did create flashcards as well. But I didn't produce this all the way, but I like flashcards. Kids like I like flashcards too. So I do have flashcards. So I'm just being creative in what we can do, to be able to teach, prepare them, for life. And they're proud of themselves when they know their ABCs, because I do have children right now that I'm teaching them, their ABCs. We're listening to the pronunciation of how they're saying their words. And it's really meant too for parent engagement, because you can't just give the ABC book to your child and think they're going to know them. So, you go through it and you might hear that your child is not saying a certain letter properly. And maybe that's an opportunity to work with your child as well, to get additional support. But I just want to allow this book to be something that's going to help children and parents, at least when they get to kindergarten, they're ready. They're reading. They're exceeding the expectation of a kindergartner.
So it sounds like you're making it fun for the parent and the child with those flashcards.
Right.
And it sounds like this book is also created where it can be like a workbook too.
It really can be. I have it here too. It really can be used, as a workbook. So we just open up, we can trace to see, we could type, this is a cupcake. Well, what kind of cupcake? It's a chocolate cupcake. Mm-hmm. And well, what's here? This may be a strawberry, could be a cherry. We can have a conversation about the book. What color is, the cupcake? It's brown. Is she holding it in her hand? Do you like cupcakes? Oh, I like cupcakes. Miss Keisha likes chocolate cupcakes. I like to have conversation with them, and then they start talking. Well, I like strawberry cupcakes, or I like lemon. So it really, if you're patient, you can really start to have some dialogue with your child too, just from a simple book with pictures.
Awesome. So I know I read your bio, but I want you to talk to me, take me back to corporate America, and that was what was that like leading up to you becoming an author and starting your own business? Tell me in your own words.
Oh, wow. I loved being in corporate America. I graduated from college from Morgan State University and was recruited to work for Johnson Controls, which is a engineering energy efficiency company. So I was in sales. So I would sell, they call it planned service agreements. So basically service contracts to hospitals and school districts and commercial buildings for their heating and air conditioning systems. Everyone, it's cold outside now. So you want to make sure that when you walk into a building, you're warm, in the summer. So I would sell those contracts, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars at some point. I enjoyed it. It was a great experience. And I worked for Lockheed Martin as well, just really big companies. So I had perks. I had expense accounts. I got to travel, go to football games, had to take customers to football games, because there were big contracts that we were dealing with. And I did that for several years, and I really enjoyed it. And I was living in the Washington, D.C. area at the time. And life took a turn, like I said in my bio, and my mother found out that she had, breast cancer, right as soon as you start to really do well in your field. I was the youngest, the woman on my team. And, an opportunity though came that another, actually vice president said, "Hey, Lakisha, I know that you're from Virginia and we're trying to grow our customer base down there. Would you like to go back?" And I said, praise God, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to get back to my mom, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. So I was able to stay with the company and transition back to my hometown and still work and start to try to build up the customer base in the area. And so I did that. And my mother was able to overcome breast cancer for a while. She went through her chemotherapy and she was able to overcome it. However, there is always the risk of it coming back. And it did come back. But in that time, I pursued my master's degree locally in Virginia and met my husband through classmates in the program, and we got married. And thankfully, my mom was actually able to see me get married. She helped plan the wedding. I got married in 2013. And so she passed in 2015. So life just continued to move. So the company, I actually went from Johnson Controls working here, actually started to work back in Maryland. So then I was doing a commute of like 5 hours or so from Newport News, Virginia to Rockville. Life was just making uncomfortable, and I was trying to figure it out. Ended up coming back and doing some jobs that I was passionate about. So I've always been passionate about professional development and personal development and wanting to see people do better and get a job that can help, increase and better their lifestyle. So I did corporate recruiting, and that just did not work out. Found myself at home, pregnant with my son, trying to figure it out. Thought I was going to do some entrepreneurship in real estate investing. I had dabbled in real estate a little bit. I said, I'm going to be a real estate investor. So I thought I was going to do that. And I also wanted to do recruiting for small businesses to help them hire talent. And that didn't work out. So pregnant now, on bed rest, and had my son, and now I'm home in 2019. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm posting just a few videos on social media of me teaching my daughter. And a couple of friends asked me to watch their kids. And I said, okay, just to be helpful, because I was here trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I said, okay. And I tell you, Jolanda, I was so shocked at how I felt after they came here. I couldn't believe it. I said, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. And again, like coming from the corporate America structure that I came from, that was not in my plan. Now, my mother, after she retired, owned the childcare business for 10 years. And I remember I used to say, Mom, this is great. I'm glad that you like this, but this is not for me. And she wanted it to be a business that she could pass down. She was ambitious. She wanted, and I just had no interest, none. But when those children came, and they kept coming, and I was happy to do it. And the pandemic came in 2020. So this is 2019, 2020. So I had some decisions to make. Like, am I going to, be a babysitter, or am I going to actually start a business? And so I decided to start a business with childcare in my home, get licensed. I went back and forth to get licensed. And so, so I got licensed. And then, as you know, I'm teaching the children. I'm doing research. I'm looking at competitors to expand. I got to the point where I decided that I wanted to do something more for the kids, for families, that it can reach out, to a lot of people. And then that's how Proud of Me ABC was created. And that was nothing that I was interested in, Jolanda. Like, I never had an interest of being an author. That just wasn't a part of something I wanted to do. So this has all been an experience, a creative experience, a new learning experience. I did it from scratch. I didn't have a lot of hand holding in the process. Kind of figured it out, listening to God and the creativity that comes, and I got it done this year. It took about 9 months. Took about 9 months to complete. It started with the cartoon. That was really what I wanted to do. I wasn't expecting to do a book. I wanted to do the cartoon with my daughter. And then so with the cartoon, you have what they call scenes. So each cartoon is a scene. And so when I received the scenes, I said, well, this looks like it could be a book. And so then I reached out to another editor and said, well, can you take first I had to get them to release the scenes to me in a PDF JPEG format. And then I was able to send those images to someone who could then format it into a book. Now, mind you, we already had the cartoon with the voiceover, so we already knew what the book was, each page was going to say. And I just added a couple of words, is and for, and we got to the book. And then it was okay, now what? So now I'm in the process. I don't want to stop. I have to get them printed. And so I worked with manufacturers in China to get the book printed, which, I would encourage some, if this is something that you want to do, there's options out there. It may seem scary, but, it's business, and they do this every day. And so there's definitely opportunities for you to self-publish. And so I self-published funded and published the printing and the shipping over of the book.
Wow. Wow. So that right there should be encouraging to someone. And one thing that you said that I found very interesting, where you said that you had to redefine your life, because in 2019, COVID-19, and, when we went through that, the pandemic and all that, many of us found ourselves, we had to go back to the table and get creative. We had to take another look at things. And, to keep our business going, to keep our professions going, to keep ourselves going.
Right.
And so what would you say to a person? Because you said you had to redefine yourself. What were some of the struggles, that you had in that process? And what would you say to them to encourage someone to just keep on pushing, because now you're here?
Absolutely. I had to let go of some things, and, just to keep it, real, when for me, I had a certain image I felt internally, because I felt like I had achieved a certain level of success in corporate America. And so now I'm home with 2 kids, and that was not part of the plan. So I would say, first, be okay with where you're at and let your past go. Because if I would have kept, feeling like, oh, what I left behind, I would never have been able to get to my future. So let your ego go, let the pride go, let all of the, what you felt like you accomplished, let that go, because you just never really know what's in store for you. I don't know what this is going to entail, but I just know I'm happy doing it. I feel like I'm in another season of my life. And so just be open to grow, and you just be open to listen to people too. Because some people encouraged me. They said, well, submit, you could do a daycare. And when I heard that, I still pushed back a little bit, but be open to change. I would, encourage people to be open to change, because that's our life's journey, is change. And I didn't want to keep trying to find engineering companies to work for. I just kind of saw I wanted to be with my kids. God had granted me some opportunity there to do that. And I leaned into it. So let go and be present and be okay with starting over. Be okay with starting over. It's not easy. You may think about your past, but it's just that. And the future is so much better. So that's my experience.
Yes. And it's easy to look at the finished product, all the things that you did, you're creating your business, your child care. But a lot of times when people see, the finished product, they don't understand like the hard work that was put into it. But you kept going, even if, you faced some times that was really, really hard. So hang in there. If you are a person who is inspiring to start your own business, hang in there, keep going and get better. Because if you stop, then you will have an unfinished product, So tell us again, Lakisha, how they can purchase your book, how they can find you. Tell us about your social media handles.
Right. Okay. So, Lakisha Leeks, you can find me Lakisha Leeks, proudofmeabc.com. The name of my business is Amazing Childcare and Learning Academy. We're looking to expand and to grow. Currently, I have a waiting list of over 100 children. So there's definitely a need for childcare in my area. And I'm really looking and excited to provide quality childcare to prepare them for kindergarten and beyond. But, I'm on social media. This is new for me, and I'm excited. Thank you for having me here today. There's, you can reach out to me, email me. I do like to inspire people. Like you said, like it's a finished product now. Honestly, sometimes I don't even believe I have a finished product now. I'm like, I did that, I can't even believe that I was able, but it was just kind of like I don't want to quit. At some point, you quit on things and you look back and think, what if I kept going? And I will tell you that this past year, I listened to a lot of positive podcasts. I was always listening to a lot of positive information. And I feel like that really helped me, to keep going, to want to execute, not to quit, not to stop. And that's how I have a finished product. But again, it took 9 months. It wasn't overnight. There were mistakes made that I had to pay for. You do have to invest in things financially as well. There were late nights. My husband's like, you're on that computer a lot. And I'm like, I was on the computer a lot. When you're dealing with China, when you're going to sleep, they're going to work. So, but it's all worth it. I'm just so excited. And this is the first, I want this to be, a series. I don't want this to be one and done. I want this to be something that continue to, the kids will look forward to, they can have it in their library at home. But, so I think Lakisha Leeks, Amazing Childcare, proudofmeabc.com. The book is $20 currently, and the cartoon is currently $3.99 for a download.
How wonderful. How wonderful. Listen, this is Lakisha Leeks. She is an author, y'all. And I'm going to tell you, I have her book. And as a matter of fact, I have a niece named Skylar.
Oh, I love it.
A nice Christmas gift for her. And so it is such an honor and a pleasure to have you on G's Inspirational Corner TV show. We're going to make sure that your information is scrolling across the screen so everybody can get a chance to grab that paper and the pencil. Because I'm going to tell you, check out her website. It's beautiful. I went onto her website. It is a beautiful website. I mean, it is so colorful, so well done. So go out, purchase her book, support. And Lakisha, we're running out of time, but I want to say thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to our viewers, thank you for joining G's Inspirational Corner TV show. Tell somebody about G's Inspirational Corner. We're on 7 days a week right here on Roku, BGK TV, channel 117. I want to say have a blessed day. This is your girl, G. Until next time.